Every day, right, we're hearing about the amazing things AI can do. But what about the flip side? What about the risks that are kind of lurking just under the surface? The ones that can quietly cost a company a fortune. That's what we're going to dig into today. AI's costly blind spot. This quote really nails it. AI is powerful, no doubt, but it is not perfect. And it's right there, in that gap between powerful and perfect, where things start to get really interesting and, yeah, really, really expensive.
So, how expensive are we talking here? Look, this isn't about small glitches or a server going down for an hour. No, no. When these big, powerful AI systems get it wrong, the hit to a company's wallet can easily be measured in the millions. Yep, millions of dollars.
Okay, so the big question is, how does a supposedly smart algorithm end up causing $1 million disaster? Well, in our first section here, we're going to break down exactly how these massive, high-stakes errors happen. And this is really the key thing to get. These aren't just one-off freak accidents. We're actually seeing a pattern here. A pattern where companies put this blind trust in automation, and it leads straight to financial catastrophe. Why? Because they're just not ready for the fact that AI can and does mess up. All right, so if this is a recurring problem, a pattern, where is it showing up the most? Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the industries that are getting hit the hardest by these expensive AI fails. It seems to boil down to three main areas. Three, let's call them battlegrounds, where AI mistakes are the most common and, you guessed it, the most expensive. We're talking finance, supply chain management, and of course, cybersecurity. Let's dive into each one. First up, let's follow the money. We're heading into the super high-stakes world of finance. More and more, companies are letting AI make these huge, critical decisions, all because they're chasing that tiny little competitive edge. And just look at the difference here. The dream, the goal, is to have these perfect data-driven predictions for investments. But what's the reality? Well, if that AI is fed bad or incomplete data, you end up with a portfolio full of duds and massive, costly pricing mistakes. Ouch. Okay, next, let's talk about the world of actual physical stuff. Boxes, trucks, warehouses, the whole shebang. We're talking supply chain management. This is where a digital prediction has to survive in the messy, complicated real world. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The whole point is for the AI to predict exactly what you and I are going to want to buy. But if it's off by just a little bit, boom, you get this huge ripple effect. Suddenly, you've got warehouses overflowing with stuff nobody wants, or the complete opposite, empty shelves and angry customers. Either way, it's a direct hit to the company's profits. And for our last example, we're going to an area that is, let's be honest, absolutely non-negotiable for any company today, using AI to defend the castle walls, so to speak. We're talking about cybersecurity. So the goal, of course, is this perfect digital watchdog that never sleeps, always on guard. But the reality? If that AI misses just one new kind of threat, the consequences are, well, disastrous. We're talking huge data breaches, or even having to shut down the whole operation. It can literally bring a company to its knees. All right, so we've seen what's going wrong and where it's happening. But to me, the more interesting question is why? Why are these supposedly genius systems making such basic and incredibly expensive mistakes? It turns out the path to failure is, well, it's a pretty simple and pretty vicious cycle. It all starts with bad data. That bad data leads to a wrong prediction, obviously. But here's the real kicker. The AI has no clue about real-world context. So what does it do? It just keeps making that same mistake over and over and over again, and at a speed we can barely comprehend. And that brings us to this really important idea called blind automation. This is really the heart of the whole problem. See, the AI is amazing at spotting patterns, fantastic, but it has absolutely zero understanding of consequences in the real world. So when something totally unexpected happens, like a stock market crash or a global pandemic, the AI just keeps on following its old patterns, even if it's driving the business straight off a cliff. Okay, I know this all sounds a little doom and gloom, but there is a solution. And what's so interesting is that it's not about building an even smarter AI. Nope. It's about bringing back a critical and surprisingly simple element, putting people, humanity, back in the loop. This right here, This slide, it just sums up the whole argument perfectly. The big mistake that so many companies are making is thinking of AI as a replacement for a human expert. The real solution, the one that actually works, is to think of AI as a powerful assistant. It's a tool that makes human experts better, faster, sharper, but it never, ever replaces them.
So, what does that actually look like day to day? Well, it means you have to be totally committed to human oversight. We're talking about constantly reviewing what the AI is doing with a healthy dose of skepticism. It means testing it like crazy before and after you launch it. And it means having real, live, human experts actively monitoring it, ready to jump in and catch an error before it spirals into a total catastrophe.
When you boil it all down, the crucial takeaway is this. The danger isn't really the AI itself. The real risk is in how we, as people, choose to use it. It's about the choices we make, when we implement it, how much we decide to trust it, and how we manage it in the long run. And that really leaves us with one final big question to think about. When you consider all these costly blind spots we've talked about, you have to wonder, is our trust in AI growing way faster than our actual ability to manage it safely?